As if we don't have enough problems in the country. We don't have just the people who are struggling because of cost of living crisis. We don't just have the public sector who demand more pay. We now have the actual state, the civil service, planning to go on strike. The people who are running the country are against the state themselves. This is quite fascinating now because the state of affairs in the country is becoming a bit of a joke. The politicians who are supposed to be on our behalf running the policy program and managing the government and governance of the country, they can't handle things anymore. Politicians from all sides of the spectrum, right now they are completely weak and feeble. We know that. Everybody in the House of Commons, generally speaking, stereotype. That's the reality of it. But now we have civil service going on strike. 100,000 civil servants said to strike across the government. By the way, 100,000 is not even all of them. We have way too many civil servants. We have way too many bureaucrats. And by the way, we have to differentiate between civil service and public service. Between civil servants, the Whitehall bureaucrats, and they are, of course, they're not all just in Whitehall, they're also in different offices across the country, from the passport office to everything else. There's a difference between them and public servants. So the frontline public services, teachers, nurses, doctors, firefighters, the police force, defense, that's a whole different category. And right now, a lot of them, they don't have good pay. And we actually absolutely understand the struggle that they're going through. But then you have civil service. They're tick box the exercise people. The people who, again, a lot of the secretaries, a lot of the titles are secretaries, and all the admins and everybody else who just do the paperwork. And some of them, of course, they still have essential roles. And it's not to undermine it, but it's not their fault that these roles have been created. The state becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And you would think the 1970s were bad. The situation we now have, that the tax burden is its highest in decades, and we also have the size of government going so big, it's so big that there is no difference between our current state and an old school socialist state or communist state. They're also as big. And you wonder why things don't get done. And now they're going to go strike. But is anybody going to notice? That's quite interesting, right? Because if nurses and doctors go on strike, everybody notices. We know, because you're going to go to a hospital and no one's there. But this is quite, how many people can actually bother with this whole situation? And let's not forget that there's no diversity. There's no true diversity when it comes to civil service. In fact, we found out, even Mark Easton, the Home Editor of the BBC, admitted that the top Whitehall civil servants are even posher today than in the 1960s. This is according to the Social Mobility Commission, SMC. How? How is this possible? How are we even getting even posher in the civil service? I didn't think it was even going to be possible. Back in the 19th century and 20th century, early 20th century, mid 20th century, that was a bit of a norm. We thought we moved on from that. We thought we have more people, real people from all different classes and all different backgrounds joining. But no, there is no true diversity at the top of the civil service. But these people are the ones who are running the country. It's not the politicians. The politicians come up with policy ideas. The politicians are the face of the departments. So when the civil servants mess up, well, politicians will go down. Nobody fires the civil servants. They're just part of the furniture. The system doesn't work, and nobody is willing to talk about it. No one's brave enough to talk about real radical reforms to change the system for the better, in the interest of the public. If we want to keep our country stable and democratic, we need to talk about this. It's time to talk about the model of the state that we have. We'll see where we go with this, but thanks again for watching. Make sure to share this video, subscribe to the channel. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.